Welcome to the Close the Chapter podcast. I am Kristen Boyce, a licensed marriage and family therapist with a private practice, Pathways to Healing Counseling. Through conversations, education, strategies, and shared stories, we will be closing the chapter on all the thoughts, feelings, people, and circumstances that don't serve you anymore and open the door to possibilities and the real you. You won't want to miss an episode, so be sure to subscribe. Welcome to this week's Close the Chapter podcast. I am so happy you are here. I am glad we can come together during this unprecedented time to learn how to move through the hard emotions that are coming up and come together to support one another. So if you want to join the community, feel free to go to Facebook and type in Close the Chapter and join our group. Also, if you go to kristendboyce.com, you can put in your email address. You will get emailed a guide, a journal on some coping strategies and some ways to really support you during this trying time. And that is free. It goes straight to your inbox. You just put your email address in, and then every week, the new episodes will be delivered to your inbox, along with other helpful information and content that I'm putting together. So feel free to join that. I would love to have you as part of the community. And then you can follow along on social, on Kristen D. Boyce, on Instagram and Facebook and Pinterest, it's Kristen Boyce, and YouTube is Kristen Boyce. So please, I would love for you to join us. Tag me if you're listening to an episode. Share it with a friend right now if you find it helpful, so we can change the stigma on mental health. Nobody should be suffering alone. We need to change the paradigm and the language around what we're all feeling and not hide. The shame wants to keep us hidden. The guilt wants to keep us hidden. And when we can free ourselves by working through what lies underneath, it changes your life. That's why I think today's episode is one of the most important topics to discuss, process, acknowledge, look at, notice, because it's never too late to make a change. So if you listen to this and you experience some shame come up saying, I'm a bad parent or I'm a bad person, I want you to hold space with compassion and just witness it. Witness that pain and nurture it, meaning offer yourself some self-compassion. We're doing the best we can. Right now, we're in what I would call a global trauma of sorts. And so we're going back to old coping strategies. We are feeling stuck. We are afraid. We feel anxious. There's so many different emotions going on right now. And let's be kind to ourselves. Let's try to hold that space so we can do this work and this deeper work. We can move through it and get to the other side. So today I'm going to be talking about changing repetitive, habitual, generational family patterns. This is a critical episode because if we don't take a look at it, you will unconsciously pass this down and pass this along to other people. What we don't process, we oftentimes project onto other people. And when we put that on someone else, they feel responsible. It's not their job, nor can they fix it. This is the news flash I want to tell everybody. I wish we could, but no one else can really heal it except for ourselves. So let's go through these. I have 7 ways, 7 repetitive patterns, ways of being that I am passionate about breaking. Not only in my own life, but helping clients break these patterns. We've got to bring attention and awareness to anything. That's the first step to change, is awareness and noticing and holding that space with compassion. So let's start at the top. These are in no particular order. These are the ones that came to me as I was preparing for this episode. So number one, greatest piece of family systems that I would change is not talking about emotions. Biggest change that I would love to make is breaking that cycle that we don't talk about emotions. We don't talk about how we feel. We sweep it. We minimize it. We deny it. We are absolutely cut off from our emotions. And we didn't come in like that. We came in screaming. We came in crying. When we got hurt as a little child, we cried. We let it out until someone told us to shake it off, until someone disciplined us out of it, until someone handled it in such a way that we said, "Ooh, that's not safe for me to feel." And so we then don't feel equipped to talk about our emotions and process in real time what is going on with us. If I could change family systems, this would be the number one thing I would change. That it's safe to have your feelings. It's safe to cry. It's safe to express what's really going on inside. It's safe to say you're afraid. It's safe to say you're angry. It's what we do with anger. A lot of people get afraid of that one because of what was done to us. To be able to express joy and excitement and disgust, whatever you're feeling. Again, those 7 core emotions. If you've listened to this podcast at any point, I talk about this almost every episode, is your core emotions. When we could change that, we would reduce the amount of body aches, pains, and trauma in family systems. Because what we do is if we don't get to process the emotions in real time, it's held in our body. It's held in the nervous system. It is frozen almost in time. That's why someone could look like an adult, but emotionally they're functioning like a toddler. And you're like, oh, something happened young in their life where they weren't allowed to express what was really going on the inside. So they perform, they perfect, they please, they placate, they shut down, they were depressed, they were anxious. We could keep going on and on. It's really important that we are able to have our own thoughts, feelings, and opinions, and they're heard and they're understood and they're listened to. So just got done with a brain spotting training with my team. I took my whole team at Pathways to Healing Counseling, had a trainer come in and do a training on brain spotting because I think it's so important as therapists that we're all doing our own work and then we can offer up effective treatment modalities to get people unstuck. And brain spotting is one. And Brooke Randolph, who's on a previous episode, talked about it on the podcast. And I have already gone through the training. And in the training, there's a piece that's taught in brain spotting, and it says, nothing is a problem until we make it a problem. That resonated with me big time. Nothing is a problem unless we make it a problem. And number 2 is wait. Why am I talking? Wait. Why am I talking? Whew, it just makes me take a breath. Oftentimes, as parents, we talk over. We lecture, we talk at somebody instead of letting our children in particular, instead of letting them express how they feel, witnessing it, self-regulating, self-soothing through it, and saying, thank you for sharing. I bet that was really scary to share how you felt, and you shared it with me, and thank you for that. That's an example of how I would coach a parent to respond instead of going, I didn't do that. Like if my child, okay, this has happened in my own life. Let's be honest. We all have had at some point someone give us feedback that we don't agree with. So they give us feedback like, well, you look mad. Say one of my kids says that to me. You look mad. I'm not mad. Like I really do not feel mad. That is whether it's their own filtering system. That's how they're experiencing me. And I want to take some time to understand that, to listen, to acknowledge, even if I don't agree. Again, I teach this with couples. This is notorious for couples. They're like, well, I don't I'm not going to acknowledge because I don't agree with what they're saying. Acknowledgement does not mean agreement. I can hear you and acknowledge you. And something like acknowledgement would sound like this. That makes sense that that was really scary for you. That makes sense that that was really hurtful, even if you don't agree, because it's not about you. At the end of the day, feedback, yes, it is sort of about us, but at the end of the day, it's an invitation, simply an invitation. How present am I to someone else's pain, especially our children? This is in particular our children. And am I taking it in? Am I really hearing them? Or am I talking them out of a feeling? So that's number two. How often do you try to talk people out of their feelings because you're trying to be helpful? And you think, if I just say, no, you are wonderful. If someone says, I feel like I'm worthless. I feel like I'm a piece of crap. I feel like no one cares about me. And I'm like, no, Susie cares about you and Joey cares about you and etc. Becky cares about you. And I go on and on about all the people that they care about them. I'm not letting them process it. I'm trying to talk them out of their feelings. So if my daughter comes up and she says, I have no one to sit with at lunch, and my instinct is to go, well, yeah, you could sit with so-and-so. This is not the case this year. They have pre-assigned seating because of COVID, the pandemic we're in. And so that's not an issue this year. If that were an issue and I said, you could sit with XYZ person, I'm trying to fix it. I am coming with a fix it hat because I want to rescue them from those feelings of loneliness because I'm over identifying as a parent of that lonely feeling. I don't want them to feel rejected. I don't want them to feel abandoned. And so I'm trying to fix it. I'm trying to rescue them from their feelings. That does not allow our kids to sit with discomfort and hard emotions and learn how to tend to them and process them. I need to be an empathic witness to their feelings so they can process them fully and let them out, and then they move on. If you've ever seen a kid get up, like fall, skin their knee, they cry, we let them out and they move on. If I tell them to knock it off, they typically will get angry, or some will just be the compliant child that will completely stuff it down. And then they're left feeling abandoned emotionally. They're left feeling rejected. They're left feeling with shame. Like, so I did something bad. I'm bad. And so we really want to allow emotion to come up and out, allow emotion to come up and out. Now, if someone's being abusive, that's a whole nother conversation. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about natural emotions being released. If I can allow them come up and out like a wave, they come in a wave. There will be a peak in the wave and then the wave will come down. There'll be a peak in the wave and the wave will come down. Write it out. Open your heart up, open your soul up, open your mind up, and hold a loving, empathic space. You don't have to say the right thing. You don't have to fix it. You just have to be fully present with the person in front of you. If it's your kid, if it's your spouse, if it's a partner, a friend, a coworker, it doesn't matter. Open your heart, open your mind, take a deep breath, and really see the person in front of you. Don't try to fix it. They will feel unseen, unsupported, unheard, misunderstood. It will be a rewounding from their childhood. It will be a rewounding from their childhood if you're doing this with a partner or a friend and you try to fix it. Nobody wants to feel like they need to be fixed. I feel the best when someone just hears me and acknowledges what I feel. I want you to try this out. And this looks like you saying, how are you feeling? And someone says, I don't know. And I go, oh, it's hard. This is so hard right now. This is such a hard time. Saying it's such a hard time is a very validating statement. Let them say what's there. Let them go on and just hold the space. Don't try to fix them or rescue it. Just acknowledge the emotion and how hard it is. And that's all you need to do. I usually mirror back what I hear the person say. So what I heard you saying is it's really, you don't even know what you feel. They're like, no, I don't even know what I feel. I go, oh, I know it's hard to even know what you feel. And they're like, yeah. And then I'll go, yeah, tell me more about that. Open-ended questions. This is what it looks like to really see somebody. Look in their eyes with a soft gaze, with loving eyes. Did you not want your parents to look at you with loving eyes? Do you want your partner to look at you with loving eyes? Look at your children with loving eyes. Soft, 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 gentle, loving eyes. There's nothing more powerful that you can offer another human than looking at them with love and compassion and grace. They will open up, they will share, they will feel safe in your presence. And you can do this for yourself. Like what I'm teaching is you've got to do this for yourself too in order to give it out. Okay, so number 3, we especially with children, this is a children one on generational patterns. We focus on discipline rather than empathy and acknowledgement. We focus on discipline rather than empathy and acknowledgement. We can have boundaries and acknowledgement and empathy. So this might look like, let's take screen time right now because we're seeing the highest rate of suicidality in teens than we ever have because of screens and technology. They're not wired to process that much on the screen. Their brains aren't fully developed till 25. They don't have that long-term consequence, like cause and effect, until 18. And even then, it's still going until 25. It's creating so much depression and anxiety. So this might be what it looks like. I know you really want to connect with your friends, and it's really important you're getting sleep so you feel less sad and depressed and anxious. So we're going to put the phone up an hour before bedtime. And I know that's hard. So we're all going to do this as a family. Oh, this is dumb. Why are we even doing this? Is their response, right? They're not going to be happy about it. You're modeling what it looks like to take care of yourself, have healthy boundaries, and offer empathy. And they're not going to like it at the beginning. We need to all be turning our screens off an hour before bedtime. So I'm asking clients, even you, are you turning your screen off an hour before bedtime? I know I struggle with it because I'm like, oh, I could get, 4 more emails or check this post one more time or whatever. And what it does is it keeps your brain activated and your body activated rather than coming down and taking a breath and calming down. So lead with empathy instead of discipline. You can set the boundaries, and the empathy is the most important piece in your life. Like lead with empathy and then communicate boundaries. What we typically do is we have that backwards. We lead with the boundary. And sometimes that's important, depends on the situation. We lead with the boundary and not the empathy. I love to lead with the empathy and set the boundary. So it's really important that empathy is a huge part of your life. Empathy for yourself, empathy for other people. Sympathy means you poor thing. Well, nobody wants to feel that. Ew. I feel like someone just slimed on me. Empathy is like, yeah, I can totally understand how that feels for that person. Now, I'm not going to say I totally understand because people get defensive around that. They'll say, you don't totally understand. You're not in my shoes. If I can say something like, that is so hard, I can see why that is just so painful. That is a very empathic statement. Tell me more about it. Wouldn't it be great if we let people process their emotions and what's really going on in close to real time as possible? We would have so much less trauma. Okay, so number 3, no more secrets. I'm pausing because this is so big. No more secrets. When secrets keep us sick, if you've heard that saying, secrets are toxic. Secrets are heavy. They keep people hidden. They keep people in shame and guilt and anxiety, and they transcend through generations. You will see lots of family secrets if you go generations back in your own family system. It's kind of surprising to do and find out, oh, there was a lot of secrets. A lot of things were hidden, affairs, addictions, money problems, bankruptcies, extra relationships. That's kind of goes to the affairs, children that no one knew about. And this can bring up shame for people. And what I want to say is take a deep breath, hold some space for compassion. I like the Brene Brown saying, she says, we're all doing the best we can. That can be triggering for people, and it's the truth. In that moment, based on what we know, based on what we're taught, based on our conditioning, based on our life experiences, we are doing the best we can. It's hard for us to give ourselves that grace. Make a pact right now that you're not going to do family secrets. And you're going to stop that generational pattern. No more hiding, no more secrets. When someone comes to therapy, it's a lot of times the first time they've told something that was a secret that they've never told anybody. And that's the first step to their healing. It starts freeing them, F-R-E-E, free. They start stepping into freedom. There's nothing more powerful than to watch somebody have the courage, have the brave courage is the word that just keeps coming up for me, to come and share that with a therapist, to say, I've never told anybody this. And that is the moment I'm like, yes, you're getting it out. Yes, we're healing. Keep going, keep going. Yes, we can work through all that shame and anxiety and guilt. And you can free your body and your immune system and generational patterns and everything that's been keeping you stuck. That starts the freedom. That starts the healing. That is powerful. So sometimes just making a decision for yourself that I'm not going to do any more secrets. I want to cheer you on to the finish line. I'm like, yes, keep going. It's hard and it's scary and the unknown. And yet at the same time, I can tell you what's on the other side is freedom. Now, will you have to go through hard to get there? Potentially. And it's worth it. You're worth it. You are worth it because somebody told you, I don't believe you. Somebody told you that's not true. Somebody told you to keep it quiet. And I'm here to say, I believe you. I believe you. I believe you. Those are powerful words. Those are powerful words when we say we believe somebody. I've seen it multitude of times, witnessed it with somebody else, or I've said it to somebody. And that is so healing because we're so afraid to be believed because somebody's told us they're not going to believe you. And here's the other thing I want to say about this is when we saw a parent keep a secret, we thought, well, that's what we do. We hide this stuff. We hide all of our shame stuff. We hide whatever it is. It can be something small, what we would call kind of a small T trauma, or we could hide something big. And to my book, there's no difference. It's just how intense is it in your nervous system. And people that see parents hide things, it becomes just kind of the normal. They don't even know any different. This is just what we do. We just hide stuff. And what I find with the clients that hide, they're stuck. They're stuck in shame, anxiety, and guilt. And once they start dealing with what lies underneath, power starts freeing them. Okay, number 4. I have to separate some of these defenses out. If you go back to previous episodes, it's called Why Are You So Defensive? I talk a lot about these defense mechanisms. I had to break these out because I think as systems, if we think of a system, a family is a system, a workplace is a system, we have religious organizations or systems, culture is a system. I mean, we have so many different systems. And in these systems, we have a lot of shame and blame. We have a lot of shaming and blaming. So family systems, we think we don't even know we're shaming. And a lot of why questions are very shaming. So, why did you do that? Even in my tone, you can hear that. It feels so shaming. Like, why did you do that? I'm not really big into why questions a lot of times because it can take us into our looping thoughts, our cognitive, rather than what am I feeling? Much more powerful. Getting curious about what is that emotion? Where are you feeling it? Where's that felt sense? Where is that in your nervous system? Where is that in your body? Emotions live inside of us in different parts, different body, inside the body, inside the nervous system. It's important to notice, where does shame show up in your body? Shame is I'm not good enough. It's about ourself. I'm bad. I'm defective. I'm worthless. Whew, we got to notice where that shows up in our nervous system. We've got to stop with the shame and the blame. Well, I didn't mean to do that. You're so sensitive. I just want to blow that up. I'm like, no, this person isn't sensitive. This person is a human. How many of us are just human beings? And we've absorbed much of the family dynamics in the system. So we don't know any better. We just take that into all of our systems. If I've absorbed a lot in my family system, I'm taking that in my other systems. Now it's up to me to nurture myself through that if I do feel activated or triggered. So let's really break up with shame and blame. Wouldn't that be amazing if we broke up with shame and blame? Whew, that would be powerful because oftentimes we are shamed into believing it's our fault. It's our fault. And so I really encourage you to work through your own shame. Notice what that feels like when you don't feel good enough, when you feel small. Where do you feel it in your body? And move down into those core emotions. Typically, it's sadness, it's fear. And when you can drop into those core emotions, you can work through the shame. When we allow our kids to have their own emotions, we can work through the shame. I can notice the shame in my kids immediately. And if you're in our family, oh my gosh, I introduced shame and the concept of shame because of Dr. Brene Brown when the girls were out of the womb. So they've been using that word shame, and we've been and they know going underneath with the core emotions, but they have been using the word shame for their whole lives. And they're very verbal. They're like, don't shame me. And I'm like, I'm not shaming you. And I have to, instead of responding that way, say, thank you for sharing that with me. Tell me more. What was that like for you? What did you notice? Because let them process it. I might not have tried to be shaming. It might have landed that way for something going on with them. For my daughter in particular, either one of them, they will tell me directly when they feel that. I want them to do that. I want them to process it. I want them to tell me the truth. I don't want them placating me, because they'll do that in other relationships. They will do that in other intimate relationships later in their life. It's important I hold the space that they can show up, be seen, and be who they are. So shame and blame, we're gonna get rid of those in family systems, which leads to yelling. Whew, how hard is it to not yell sometimes? If you grew up in a family of yellers, your tendency is going to want to be to bend sometimes to yelling, depending on how triggered you are. If you've done a lot of work, you might be able to take your deep breaths and keep calm. So that's part of this journey of doing the work. But yelling, we've seen scans now, PET scans. It lights the brain up and creates kind of a fight, flight, or freeze response. Or a fawn. A fawn is the fourth response, and that's really kind of a placating response. I'm just going to go along with what you said, so I'm safe. It's like a deer in headlights. Think of a fawn. And so there is a fourth kind of, I want to say, brainstem response: fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, when we are yelled at. And so if we can break this family pattern early, it's going to change generations to come. That's why all of these are so critical, because you can change generations to come. It's never too late. So when you want to yell, I want you to try taking your deep breath. Inhale for 4 through your nose, hold for 4 Slowly exhale out your mouth for 8. And I want you to consciously lower your voice. You're noticing I'm doing that right now. If you want to yell, I want you to almost take it to a whisper. Some people have naturally loud voices, my husband being one of them. He could be in the other room and I can hear him like he is right next to me. He just has a very powerful voice. He probably should have been in radio. And so he has to consciously work on this. It's because he already has a powerful voice. So sometimes people can think you're yelling, kids in particular, if you have a powerful voice, even if you don't. So it's almost like training your voice to take it down when you want to yell or when you feel intense about something, softening up your voice, softening your face. There's so much to be communicated in your face, which is why sometimes with these masks on, it's very hard to read. What is someone feeling? How do they feel about me? What are they thinking about how are they feeling about what I said? We're going to have to check in and ask. And children don't know that. They only see the look in your eyes sometimes. So it's really important you soften your face. Look at people with loving eyes, your children in particular, with loving eyes, and take that deep breath. Here's the final one. This is number 7, denial. I talk about this one a lot. When we live in denial, we are going to be absolutely stuck. I promise you. You will make no headway. That's a guarantee. If you're in denial about reality, if you're in denial about truth, you will stay stuck. Guaranteed. So if we say I don't have an addiction to sugar, probably not going to change it. Probably not going to change it because I'm denying I have an issue with sugar. Or let's say someone has a love addiction and they are codependent, meaning they are so into this love relationship and it's not healthy, but they can't see straight. That and they're denying how they're being treated, they won't get unstuck until we start admitting, until we start looking, until we start noticing, until we start becoming aware, we start leaning into that discomfort, we can start then breaking through the denial, which means we have to get uncomfortable. Man, I wish we were taught how to deal with discomfort. Wouldn't this be so amazing if we were taught to breathe through it, if we were taught to nurture ourselves through it, if we were allowed to feel? That would change how we processed all the challenges and hard in our lives. So I invite you into noticing, becoming aware, breathing through that discomfort, because that will help you know that you can handle whatever comes up. The answers lie within you. The answers lie within. So when we explore, we will have a knowing, and the knowing leads us to freedom. That knowing leads us to freedom. Okay, so let's just recap. Changing repetitive, habitual family patterns. And I might have misordered these because I skipped around, but we'll see if I remember. Okay, number 1, not talking about emotions. We're going to stop that pattern and we're going to process feelings. We're going to process instead of shove down, repress, which becomes depressed. We are going to process in real time as close to possible what we're feeling, thinking, and our body sensations, but primarily our emotions and our body sensations. We will change generational patterns. Number 2, no more fixing. We're not going to try to fix people out of their problems. We're not going to try to rescue them. We're going to let them have their feelings, get uncomfortable, hold the space, offer empathy, which is number 3, lead with empathy instead of discipline. We can have empathy plus boundaries. We can do both. I love the and. Remember, no buts. We love the and. So we can do that. Lead with empathy. Wouldn't that change generational patterns? We would have less addicts. We would have less addiction. We would have more ability to cope with all of those emotions that bubble up like waves. They're just like waves. All you have to do is ride the wave. Ride that wave. It'll come up, it'll come down. It'll come up, it'll come down, and just go, oh, here's the wave. I'm in it. I'm in it. I'm in it. I got it. Let it be. Be with that feeling. Just be with it. It's okay to let it out. That's what I want you to tell your kids. It's okay to have your feelings. It's okay to let it out. Oh, if we could all say that, game changing. Number 4, no more secrets. No more family secrets. We're not going to do secrets. Secrets make us sick. Secrets are toxic to us, and they create so much shame, anxiety, and guilt. Okay, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shame and blame. We are going to break the cycle of shaming and blaming. And we're going to replace it with curiosity, open-ended, holding the space questions, and we're going to allow feelings to come through. Number 6 is yelling. We're going to soften our voices, and we're going to soften our faces, and we're going to take a deep breath, and we're going to be present. If we want to yell, we're going to almost whisper. And number 7 is denial. Didn't you want your parents to wake up and stop denying what was really going on in your house? Didn't you want them to go, stop? Don't you see what's going on? Dad's an alcoholic or mom's drinking, or don't you want it to stop? Or the abuse or whatever it is, don't we want it to stop? We don't want parents to be in denial. It creates unsafety in a home. It creates chaos. So we've got to stop. The great news about all of these 7 patterns, it all starts with you. And that's the only person you can change, period, is you. That is what you can do something about. You can't change other people. Believe me, sprinkle that out if I could. I would not change them to help them heal. I would give this to everybody if I could. I want so much for people to heal. I mean, obviously, that's what I came here to do. I'm passionate about it, but I can't change other people. I have to keep working on my stuff. I have to keep cleaning up my side of the street. I have to keep doing my own work. And when you do that, it pays off for generations to come. If you get nothing out of this podcast today, doing your own work is the key to getting unstuck, is the key. So I want you to pick one of these. Okay, here's my invitation. You ready? We want to close the chapter on one of these. Maybe great to close them all. Close each door. Boom, 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 boom. I'm trying to be realistic because we're human beings. Let's just pick one that you're going to work on. One of the 7 that you're going to close the chapter on. Pick one, and then you're going to work on it. You're going to read books around it. You're going to listen to podcasts around it. You're going to journal around it. You're going to maybe go to therapy around it. Whatever it takes. You're going to work on that one thing. You don't have to do it alone. There's support out there. Trust me, there's so much support right now. You can binge listen to this podcast. There's so many options to finding healing, but it begins with you deciding. That's it. It's awareness, and then it begins with you making a decision. So pick one that you're going to work on. Send this to somebody else, and they can be your accountability partner. If someone that also has a growth mindset, that also wants to do their own work, that also wants to break generational patterns, that also wants to get unstuck, I promise you, there's no better gift you can give to yourself and anybody else by doing your work. It is a game changer. So pick one, decide that's the one you're going to work on, and then you're going to be committed. You're going to make an intention every day to work on that one thing. And it will be worth every second, every ounce of effort, every ounce of energy you put into it. I've seen it for the last 18 years. I've seen it when I help people do this with clients. Whew, it is so powerful. Cannot wait to hear what one thing you picked, how it's going. Keep going. check in, let me know the one thing you picked and give me updates, because that's just lights my heart on fire. So share this, get an accountability partner if you want to. If not, you can do this on your own too. You can do this. If you know you need support, get it. Get a therapist, reach out to a support group. There's lots out there, and I'll be cheering you on. You're worth it, you matter, and you're important. Okay, I'll see you next week.
Thank you so much for listening to the Close the Chapter podcast. My hope is that you took home some actionable steps along with motivation, inspiration, and hope for making sustainable change in your life. If you enjoyed this episode, click the subscribe button to be sure to get the updated episodes every week, and share with a friend or a family member. For more information about how to get connected, visit Kristen, Kristen, Boyce, BOICE.com. Thanks, and have a great day.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.